Welcome back. My name is Sam, and I'm so glad that you'll be spending the next few minutes with me today. I'd like to start today by really letting you know that we, as a staff at A Fair Recovery, are incredibly honored to get to do these videos. We have people come from all over the world to watch these videos. People message into the website from every continent that can access these videos and are so moved with gratitude, compassion, just an overall sense of peace because they are watching different videos on our site. Not just my videos, but we have a whole host of them at afairrecovery.com and all over YouTube. And I just want to tell you, wherever you're at, you have value. You have meaning. We make these videos. I make my videos with all of you in mind, whether you're unfaithful, whether you're betrayed, whether you're in the United States or some other nation. We just want to tell you, you have value, and we're so honored to be able to speak to you. It's my hope every video I do, whether there's lots of laughs and sarcasm and jokes, or whether there's lots of tears and emotion, raw emotion, and just a compelling attempt to reach you where you're at, we want you to know that we are all in. If you have questions, if you're looking for help, if you want to know more about our courses, go to afairrecovery.com. Click on one of the links to email the staff. We're pretty good at getting back to you. Typically, you'll have an answer within at least 12 to 24 hours. Having said all that, I want to read you a quote by an author and trauma specialist that is a rock star in the world of dealing with raw, absolute gut-wrenching trauma. His name is Peter Levine. If anybody knows Peter, make a phone call. I'd love to have an interview with him. He's a little bit tough to have come in. But he wrote this quote: "Trauma is perhaps the most avoided, ignored, belittled, denied, misunderstood, and untreated cause of human suffering." I hope that that hits you hard. I'm going to read it again. Trauma is perhaps the most avoided, ignored, belittled, denied, misunderstood, and untreated cause of human suffering. And we think that a couple of therapy sessions, a couple of remote sessions, or reading a book here and there, just kind of doing the bare minimum is going to bring transformation. And I have to tell you, it's not. Whether you're unfaithful or betrayed, that will not bring transformation. This is heavy stuff. So when you come to a video or you come to our website, I hope that you can feel the desire to meet you where you're at. I'm going to give you one more quote today, and the reason I'm going to give it to you is because yesterday I posted this quote on my Instagram account. And if you want to find me on Instagram, you can find me at Samuel_healing. I've tried to make the name somewhat kind of bland so that those of you who are maybe concerned about being found out about you or your spouse's infidelity, it's a little bit generic. So if you want to follow me, go to Samuel_healing and you'll find me there. But I posted this quote. It resonated with me. I loved it. And I thought, okay, I'll post it. And so many of you seemed to resonate with it as well. And that's going to be the backdrop for the next few minutes of today's video. The quote is, "People who have revived themselves after almost drowning in trauma do not get enough credit. Even though the pain was massive, they did not stay stagnant or bitter. They knew the only way out was the path of healing, and they used it to start a new life." So very quickly today, I'm going to take a few points from that quote, hit them hard, send you back into your own little world, and hopefully you feel more courageous, more compelled, more moved to pursue your own healing. The first part about that quote is drowning. And if there was ever a picture of what betrayal trauma can do to us, it is that we feel like we are drowning. There's so much emotion, so much pain, so much loss, so much grief. Whether unfaithful or betrayed, obviously the grief of the betrayed has some nuances that are different than the unfaithful, but just for where you're at today, we can feel like we are drowning when disclosure happens or multiple disclosures happen. You just feel like you can't get air in your lungs. You feel like you are just red hot with intensity, and the slightest bit of inconvenience, the slightest bit of challenge or interruption or loud noises can just make you feel like you're going to explode. You might have PTSD, you might have complex PTSD, but it is overwhelming, the sense of emotion. And so I know what you are feeling right now, that overwhelming sense of pain, like you're drowning. But I promise you, there does come a point, if you will do the work, where you will start to come back up. You will start to get your feet underneath you again. You will start to feel hope. You will start to feel tangible joy, tangible hope, tangible purpose again, where you will start to feel like, I don't know if I feel like myself, but I do feel like I am finding a sense of acceptance, and a new part of myself is coming forward. And I'll say more about that in a minute. The start of that quote was people who have revived themselves. And I got to tell you, what a picture of what we have to do. Regardless of what side of the betrayal or the addiction we are on, there comes a point where we have to revive ourselves. And let me just tell you, revival is from our own heart. It is from our own work. When we are constantly looking for other people, other sources to revive us, there can be a problem. Now, let's not have this black or white, all or nothing, legalistic thinking. You can watch a video like this. You can read a book, and those things are going to help encourage you, help support you. They might even revive you in the short term, but it's not going to be enough to bring absolute change until you are willing to put in the work that the book says, the video says, the course says. If you come from faith, there's all these things in, Christianity or what have you of revivals, right? The goal was for these revivals to revive people, but it doesn't work unless those people can live with the revival inside their own heart that the revival meeting cultivated. Because if you're just living off of meetings, there's a problem. If you're just living off of therapy appointments, it only takes you so far. There has to be you cultivating your own revival of self-love, acceptance, forgiveness, confrontation of shame, leaning in. Because by nature, at some level, we can be pretty avoidant. And healing is heroic. It absolutely is. Even if you're an unfaithful, doing the work to heal is heroic of you. Yes, you have failed miserably, but it is still heroic for you to accept your consequences, accept what happens, get back up and do the work that you need to do. It is incredibly heroic for the betrayed to get back up, to revive themselves, to do the work that it's going to take. Will the marriage or the relationship be revived? I don't know, but I know that you can be revived. You can revive yourself. Many people become avoidant of their pain, of their hurt. They can say, Sam, look, I get it, like revive yourself, but I don't want to go there. When I find someone or come into contact with someone who's extremely avoidant, I know that they are not thinking, well, you know what, everybody, I got a lot of pain inside of me, so screw you guys. I'm just going to make you suffer. No, they typically are avoidant because something happened, something devastated them that has caused them to have to be avoidant because the pain is so immense. And that might be you, because it was me. It can be me at times as well. I've had to lean in and acknowledge some incredible, devastating, life-altering pain. It has caused me to finally stand my ground and say, okay, I've got to do work. Side note, just this morning, when you're watching this, I just saw my oldest college-aged son go back to school out of state, several states away this morning. I thought it would be easier. It was not. I thought it would be like, no, it was awful. And he didn't get to see any of the emotion just because that's, he's kind of young, going back for his senior year. I just kind of contained it. And then I tried to avoid it. And then as I was driving in this morning, it was like, you want to avoid me? Here comes emotion. Here comes grief. Here comes sorrow. And then it spilled into other areas of grief in my life. And I had to say, okay, we're going to lean in and embrace this and deal with it. Is it infidelity? No. Is it grief? Yes. Does it trigger stuff about infidelity in my past? Absolutely. And it is my job to revive myself. My work is my work. My job is to revive myself. Next within the quote is, they knew that the only way out was the path of healing. And I just want to invite you today, if you're not on the path of healing, and you may say, well, how do I know? What kind of effort are you putting forth? How regular are you going to therapy? Have you taken a course on infidelity? Have you been to affairrecovery.com? Are you watching videos regularly? Not just mine, but helpful ones about infidelity and betrayal and trauma. How dedicated are you? If you're in a relationship, ask your partner, hey, do you feel like I'm on the path of healing? Or do you feel like I'm kind of just 1 foot in, 1 foot out? That's where the rubber meets the road, is asking your spouse or partner, hey, do you feel like I'm on the path of healing? Maybe that's something that you could do at the end of this video. I think you know if you're on the path of healing, number one, by what is your spouse or partner, if they're still in your life, saying about your journey? Number two, what is the expert or professional or coach or significant mentor in your life saying about your work? And you can't just count general friends, because sometimes general friends are just loyal to you. They're not necessarily objective, and they don't really know the ins and outs of what you're facing. But at the end of the day, if you're really honest and sober with yourself, you might be able to have a good, hard, confrontational, but gracious talk with yourself and say, let's look at the last 6 months. Am I on the path to healing, or am I on the path of avoidance, running away, denial? Maybe I haven't accepted what's happened. Finally, in the quote, it says, they used it to start a new life. Now, we can't go back in time. We can't deny what's happened. We can't start all over again. But there is new life that can come from this inner revival of personal work. There is new life that can come from you based upon a decision to say, you know what? New life means I can radically accept what has happened in my life. I can accept where I'm at, because if I can't accept where I'm at, how will I get to where I want to be? Because I can embrace my right now. I don't have to live in denial. I don't have to try and deny what happened or deny the impact of what happened or run from it. I can accept it and say, okay, this has happened. This is what has gone on. It is time for me to face it. Maybe new life for you is you deciding no more playing nice, just accepting whatever comes my way without punching back, fighting back against grief, against anger, against self-shame, self-harm. Maybe it's time for you to say, you know what? I might have to go into debt, but I'm going to go find an expert that can help me with my trauma. Maybe it's time for you to just kind of have a moment where you say, I'm tired of this life, of depression, of discouragement, of just accepting it and not doing anything else, not trying to answer back, not trying to make it any better, just laying down and dying. No more. I'm going to get back up. If I can wish you one thing today, it is the courage to generate new life, to get back up, to accept what has happened, and to decide you are worth the effort to keep going, to get back up, to move forward, and be your own best hero. Nobody's going to clap for you like you can clap for yourself. No one's going to revive you long term like you can revive yourself. Those people, those resources, they can help stoke the fire. It is our job to keep building that fire. Keep poking at it, stirring it up every single day. You are worth it. You can do this. I hope that you will keep going.